Alright, so we've got a Kelly Ryan centerline big bagger, and we broke the chain here. It looks like it was pretty sloppy. We're going to put a new spring tensioner on it, and then we just bought a new chain for it as well. The chain was about $700. So the first thing we did is I loosened up the cable. So we're about 3/4 of the way through the bag, about a 200-foot bag. And then I put the connector link back on and ground off the broken link and put a connector link back on and ran it just enough so that I could turn the rotor by hand, because there's no way of getting the chain off if there's tension on the rotor. So right now that's where we're at. You can see the chain is broken. There's broken rollers, and it just stretched and needs to be replaced. So you got one thing that happened here is there was a lot of silage juice that was in the oil, so I think the oil wasn't good, so we're gonna have to change the oil every year, make sure that we're not taking this out again. So we've already replaced the main bearing in here a couple years ago. I was thinking that might have been the problem again, but we grease it every day just to make sure that doesn't happen, because that's a terrible job tearing that rotor all the way out. But anyway, looks like we're just going to put the new chain on, and I've been here for probably a half hour or so trying to get things straightened out, and we'll pull the old chain out. And so we did drain the oil out, so it's cleaned out now. It was mostly silage juice and water and some oil too, but we're going to put 80-90 gear oil in there. I think it's going to take about 10 gallons. So alright, we got the old chain out. We replaced put a new spring on the bottom, and actually when I took the old one out, the hook broke off of it, so maybe it wasn't keeping very good tension on it. I don't know. The bagger is a 2004 and this is 2019, so it's probably the original spring on there. But the sprocket's actually in good shape here, so bearings are good. I double checked both the jack shaft here and the main rotor shaft, and things look good. So we're gonna go ahead and slide the new chain up in there. And I could never remember, but it's the lower on the front here, it's the lower grease zerk does the jack shaft, and then the upper one does the main rotor shaft. So grease those liberally. And then I just wanted to show, this is the chain. It's a 160 chain, so pretty heavy. Alright, I got the chain started, and I'm running the chain on the same way that the rotor turns. So I'm doing this by myself. I found a spot where the rotor turns easy, where I could do it by hand, and then I turned it until it got tight, just pulling the chain up slowly. And then on the other side of the rotor, I got a big old pipe wrench on the shaft, so I can turn it, pulling the chain up in there. So alright, so I got the new chain in here, but it's a little bit too long, so I'll grind this one off. And I don't have a chain breaker that big, so we'll have to use chisels and a hammer to break it, and then we'll be hopefully back in. So I ground the face of it off, and now I'm using a punch or a chisel to get behind it, and you can see it's just starting to pop. So we got this popped apart, and it looks like the chain I bought from Kelly Ryan dealer came with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra links. Alright, I had a hard time. I'm here by myself, but I had a hard time trying to get it tight enough to connect, so I put that pipe wrench on the other side of the rotor so it was against the brace there. Then I used a bar in the PTO, and I was able to pull it apart enough to stretch that tensioner out enough to get that connected. So that's a good sign. Everything's tight. Alright, so we got her back together. We got oil in it. There's a little fill plug up in the front here. It's the level it's supposed to be. And it took 6 gallons of 80-90 gear oil. So we'll put the cover back on and tighten everything back, tighten up all the brakes, and get the cables tightened up again, and hopefully start unloading silage.